I have a broadcast today that's dedicated to Miss Sea Creatures, a personal friend of mine or friends. John Donaldson is where we're going to start. One of the great Irish Americans of all time, born in 1718, and uh, met Rachel Donaldson, the daughter uh, of the Stockley family, and maiden name was Rachel Stockley. But they began to fall in love. They got married in 1744. She was at the ripe old age of 14. And together uh, were in the House of Burgesses. Uh, John also started the Washington Furnace right there in Franklin County, Virginia, and moved on to explore through the Cumberland Gap. With 11 children, they started out. One of them was a founder of Crab Orchard, Tennessee. His name was Stockley Donaldson, after his mother's maiden name. And they had a 10th child, it was a daughter, named Rachel Donaldson, who became quite the character. She ended up meeting Andrew Jackson and marrying him in Nashville, Tennessee, a town that John Donaldson founded with Mr. Robertson. And once they got married, brought some civility to this orphaned soldier. And to show you the impact that support can have on an individual, once they were married in 1794, he no longer was this drifter amongst soldiers. Uh, they gave him some direction in his life. And 2 years later, uh, Andrew Jackson became the U.S. House Representative of Tennessee and served from 1796 to 1797 in that governing body of Tennessee as it was developing. Once that was over, he moved on and got his law degree on his own with no formal education whatsoever, and became the sitting judge in Tennessee Supreme Court from 1798 until 1804. He resided. After that, he began to do some things around Tennessee, which included building the Hermitage House. And as he did that, he was able to bring some family into his life. He had been a very busy man. As I said, he was an orphaned soldier of the Revolution. And once he married into the Donaldson family, he got that support that he needed and started to get his life together and started to become part of the leadership in Tennessee. But after 1821, or 1804, I mean, he started to focus on family, focus on his wife, focus on some other things. But as we all know, he got a phone call, not a phone call, but a message to support the war done in 1812. And he went around and rounded up his military because he had been in command, and took this volunteer Tennessee militia down to the New Orleans Battle of 1812, where it looked like they may lose to the English. But once he arrived with his ingenuity and his very large Tennessee militia, he was able to bring that war to its conclusion and force the English back, fending them off from their aggressive acts in New Orleans. Once he did that, he came back to enjoy his wife and the Hermitage, but was called by President Monroe to participate in the liberation, if you will, of the state of Florida, and went down and fought in the First Seminole War. He was victorious. his campaigns have a great number of stories. I suggest anyone go through and read about Jackson's, I guess you would really have to call it his dominance as far as going and bringing Florida into the United States and into the South. Once that was completed, he was the first mayor, that's what they called him, but the Florida Federal Military Commissioner, and he began in 1821. And then started his way back into Tennessee politics and became a senator in Tennessee from 1823 through 1825, and had some semblance of a married life, if you will, as he was the senator of Tennessee, and also had a very large following that were forming their own party called the Democratic Party. And that Democratic Party started there in Tennessee. It began in Florida and culminated in 1828 with his nomination for president. And unfortunately for him, Rachel passed away in 1828 as they had gotten the news that Andrew Jackson was going to become the 7th president of the United States of America and the first Democrat to serve, and the first Tennessean to serve as President of the United States. He went through a spell. One can only imagine the sorrow that he felt. But he was very lucky in the fact that Rachel had had conversations with their children, adopted children, Rachel Jackson Donaldson and Andrew Jackson Donaldson, who went with him to Washington. And Andrew represented him as the first chief of staff, and Emily represented as the first lady, in absence of Rachel Donaldson, who I said had succumbed to life and passed away. They did an outstanding job, and Emily Donaldson was able to serve as First Lady up until almost the end, a couple years left. She had to leave due to the Petticoat Affair and some health issues that she was having. And Sarah Jackson Yorkie took her place. And that was an amazing event in history because one family, my Donaldson family, had 3 ladies serve as First Lady. And they are all storied, but none quite so much as Emily, who served the majority of the First Lady duties under President Jackson's 7th administration. And with the Petticoat Affairs and her health failing, went back to Tennessee and received a tremendous welcoming back from a state that was extremely proud of her. The stories say that she was out in the poplar groves when she found out that she had tuberculosis, and that she passed away at the age of 29, waiting for Andrew to come back, Andrew Donaldson, sitting by the window, and was able to find a peace before she died at the age of 29, and all of her accomplishments, and all of their accomplishments really, but for her life to have been cut off at 29 years old, and to be able to say that she had participated in such an amazing piece of Tennessee history, such an amazing piece of American history, and to have sort of set the stage for the Tennessee volunteer theme about helping community, about supporting family, as we've seen the effects on President Jackson's political life, only 24 months after he met Rachel, to start into politics and to become the statesman that he was for the United States and to represent Tennessee with my Donaldson family is really something that I think we could learn from in today's date and time about citizenship and support.